Hi, I'm Tamara Hanes from American Quilter Magazine, and I'm here today with Sharon Bradley from New Zealand, and we wanted to bring you an innovative product spotlight. This product she's developed in New Zealand really out of frustration of what's on the market when you're doing your fusible applique, so I would love for you to tell us all about this.
All right, thank you, Tamarin.
Yeah.
So I made Fusamat, I invented it because I was quite frustrated with what's on the market. So currently we have mats out there that are a smooth mat. So to change what we do and to understand how the product works, we have to understand our fusibles. So a fusible is a heat activated glue. And it doesn't matter what brand you use, there's a lot of brands out there on the market. For example, your Misty Fuse, your Steamer Seam, your Heat and Bonds, they're all heat activated. You apply heat and they melt. And usually when they melt, they spread. So to stop that happening, what we've done is we've created our little mat. It's called Fusamat. It's designed to be non-stick, so it won't slide around on your ironing surface. So we've made the mat so that it is non-slip, so it's quite a tacky mat to feel. And because it's quite tacky, we've made it so that it doesn't slide around on your ironing surface. And when you put your applique, it doesn't slide around on the top of it. So you can place things around where you want them to go without them slipping around. You can lift it up, you can move it around, and it will stay where you put it. Okay, it's also transparent. So we can see underneath it and we can see straight through and we can build our picture directly on top of our mat. So gone are the days of putting our background fabric down, layering up our applique, covering it up with something we can't see through, and then hitting and hoping with our iron that nothing moves, okay? Because we can see through our mat, we can build directly on the top, and I'm going to show you how that works. So I've got a few pieces that I have fused together already, and I'm just going to build them up on my little piece of applique here because I can see what I'm doing. And you can see there how easily that goes together. So my next little piece, I've got two pieces here. I've got my fusible on the back, I've done my tracing and cutting, and now I'm ready to fuse these two pieces together. So if I go and take my paper off the back, I'm going to fuse it here so that I can see what I'm doing to then move it up to the next spot. So I can see where that's going to go. I'm not quite sure where the next bit's going to go, but I can do a little switch check. So we can basically just iometer where it's going to go. And when we're happy with where everything sits, we're going to melt the glue. So we're going to apply heat, which is going to melt the glue. Okay? So melting that glue, we know the glue is going to melt and it's going to spread. So to stop that happening inside the mat, we've got a whole lot of technology going on. But the easiest way to explain it is there's a grid. Between the grid, there's a little piece, which is the bit you see through. What that does is when I put the iron down on top of it, it creates an air pocket. That air pocket sucks the glue back onto the fabric and doesn't allow it, it allows it to melt, but it doesn't allow it to spread. Okay, so when I lift that up, you'll see there's no glue on my iron. And when I lift this up, I'm using my little fine tweezers so I don't get a little buckle where I don't want to buckle. And you can see there, all my glue is there and intact. You can also see those little air pockets I was talking about. They imprint themselves into the fusible, okay? Now, unlike many of the other fusing mats that are on the market, they're a smooth mat. So what happens when we melt something onto something smooth? Okay, we've got brown ones, we've got white ones, there's lots of other ones out there on the market. And when we melt something onto a smooth mat, we can, it will melt and it will spread. So these little air pockets stop the fusible spreading, okay? So that's the big key to the mat. The other really cool thing about the mat is once you've fused everything together, you can then take it straight to your background. So here's one that I've prepared earlier, and you can see I fused this for a few days here at Quilt Week, and you can see on the back the fusible's all still intact. We haven't lost any of the glue. Okay, so it means now we can take that to our background. So here's my background. And I can place that right down on my background. Now, if I was to put this straight onto my ironing surface, which is my ironing surface here, what's going to happen when I iron that is I'm going to get little leaks of fusible because it's going to spread. I've got nothing stopping that spread. So you can see all my fusible there. It's going to leak out the side, which I don't want to happen. I want those air pockets, which are inside the mat, which we can't really see, but they're there, to do their job and to suck that glue back down and onto the fabric and not up and onto my iron. All right, so once we've done that, we can then move on to our next block. But we need a few things to think about with our mat. Now, to look after our mat, we don't have to be precious about it, okay? Historically, we would have to be precious with our applique mat because we wouldn't want creases where we can't see around them or they imprint on our fusible. So with this mat, you don't have to worry. You can just treat it any way you like. You can fold it up, you can roll it up, it will just bounce back every time. The only thing you do have to do with your Fusamat is every now and then give it a wash. It'll pick up dust from the air, it'll pick up bits from the carpet, and it will sit on your mat and it will start feeling a little gritty. So what happens if you don't wash your mat is you will get little bits of the fluff and grit and threads and things in your fusible, and here's a really good example of how that happened. So this was the last thing I fused last night at the show, and you can see all the little bits of grit and dust that's just floated around on the air and landed on my mat. And so it's now imprinted in my fusible, which when I put that down on my background fabric and iron it down, I'm going to get little bits coming through in the fabric, which I don't want. So to wash it, all you do is warm water, just run it under warm water, give it a good shake, and it's ready to go again. If you are at home, put it through your dishwasher, and it's perfectly fine. Doesn't matter what you put in with it, it'll be fine. The mats will go up to 280 degrees, which is 560 Fahrenheit, and after that it will start distorting the mat. So if you're using a heat gun or a soldering iron to make your little organza flowers, or you're doing Angelina fibre work, you can use your mat for that. You can just fold it in half, sandwich your Angelina fibres in between it, and you're good to go. So come and visit us at www.fusamat.com or follow us along on Facebook, and there's lots of tutorials and useful information on fusing and more useful tips on how the mats work.
Well, Sharon, thank you so much for spending time with us and sharing this product spotlight. And please, when you visit her website, take a look at the New Zealand forest birds. She has some beautiful designs, and they work perfect on the Fusamat. And we look forward to bringing you another product spotlight from the American Quilter magazine.